Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I wish I had the ability to play back our previous meetings, but I remember us having a conversation about leveraging this money to the benefit of our citizens in order to make, in order to get basically $4 million more. This is not a surprise to me. And Councilor Rider and I had a conversation about this on the phone today, and I said I'm in favor of leveraging that money so that we get, in essence, more. And I remember us talking about that. So I don't know when it was. It was at least a couple meetings ago, but it's clearly in the fiscal plan. You can walk it right along year by year, and it's $4 million one year, 4 point something to equal this $15 million. It's in the fiscal plan. So I'm not sure what the concern is, and we bantered back and forth on the phone today, so I guess we can do it here again, but I'm still not sure what the concern is.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The concern is when we go back to the originally getting the money, and this budget was presented to us at the first budget hearing, I spoke very adamantly against using $4 million for paving, because paving is an expense we have on a yearly basis. And at the end of 4 years, this goes away. And then the idea came up that yes, but that would free up the money to be used to leverage money. But the problem, I still argued against that, because at the end of 4 years, what $4 million do you use to pay the debt? So my point is, I never saw a plan, and that's when I said at a meeting, and everybody will remember this, Mr. Mayor, please bring me a plan. All I've gotten of that plan is a wish list of what you wanted to do if we leverage between $40 and $80 million. But nothing else have I gotten. So why are we implementing and putting it in place without a plan? That's my problem. Yes, the concept's been floated, and yes, we've discussed it. I've discussed against it since day one, but again, I'm one of 7 votes. So I said my piece, and I more or less lost. So I was going to accept it, but I was accepting it on $4 million a year, hoping over the next year or two I would change some minds. And now we're moving it all. And I still don't see a plan to leverage it, though. The plan doesn't exist yet, or we haven't seen it. But yet we're implementing it and moving forward. That's what I don't get.
Council can transfer between funds at any point they have a majority to do it so. So we put back, in essence. So there's no harm, no foul there.
But Mr. President, am I wrong? Do we still not have a plan and nothing's been implemented? But yet we're moving forward. I don't get it.
The plan isn't complete because there's not enough time to do the due diligence that you asked for at the budget meeting. That was a few weeks ago. I gave you this breakout, but that's why the council would have to approve each and every project in the appropriation ordinance at the time you're comfortable with each of those projects. This allows you the flexibility to do so if you choose to. You can choose not to do it, so you still have the right to vote on it, to make that decision. But if this isn't done, you've cut off the right to say yes because it doesn't work properly. The cash flow isn't available, and you've said no before you've had an opportunity to review the individual projects.
Mr. President.
Yes.
I think the concern of some is that if this $15 million is transferred in one lump sum, that there's some way you can leverage that without council approval. Is there any way you can leverage these dollars without council approval?
No. Every dollar has to be appropriated by the council for a project.
And I know you had mentioned, I think in our budget hearing, that or at some point you were looking at alternative ways to maybe bond or borrow. Again, no matter if you walk down to bank on the corner and ask them for money, does the council have to approve that?
Yes, not only do they have to approve the loan, they have to accompany it with an appropriation ordinance spending the loan. 2 approvals.
So, to further add on to that, to clarify, if these dollars are transferred to from the rainy day fund to local road and streets, as is shown in our fiscal plan, and by the way, for those playing along at home, in $4 million in 2017, $4,120,000 in 2018, $4,251,000 and change in 2019, and $3 million in 2020, which hopefully adds up to 15 that we're talking about. If at any time we want to move those dollars out, we can do that.
Yes.
And we can move that back into the rainy day fund if we choose, or anywhere else we want.
I believe we can transfer local road and streets in the rainy day. We could certainly.
I just want to hear that.
Yeah, certainly, if you can't go directly, at least you could reduce what and not pay anything out of that, pay your paving out of that, freeing up the money in the general fund to put the same amount back in.
Gotcha.
So yes.
Does that give you comfort?
I understand all of those things. Any dollar has to be appropriated by us. Yes, we're still protected, but it keeps evolving. When is it going to evolve beyond that point? I mean, why does it have to keep changing? We had a plan that we all agreed to, and now we keep agreeing to it, and it keeps morphing into something else. I just want to keep control of it. I'm not comfortable because obviously, without getting into any specifics, I don't agree with the full $80 million bond. I think I didn't just say no, I said hell no. So, I'm going to guard against that, and we just keep evolving in this process. Can we stop until we have a plan at some point in time?
In order to ensure that the projects are consistent.
Well, so it would be, I guess, to answer your question, it would be nice to stop, but if we stop, we've then locked ourselves out of the flexibility. And if we don't do this, we don't have those dollars available to even consider a $40 million bond or a $50 million bond. So this gives us the flexibility, but we don't have to spend it.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
When we passed the ordinance creating a fund, we made that flexibility. We did. The flexibility was there. We would have moved the money in to cover whatever we chose to cover. That would free up money in the general fund. We created the flexibility. We just keep changing how that flexibility is happening. When we passed that ordinance, that flexibility existed. We didn't have to do anything beyond that point.
Mr. Mayor, do you or Mr. Haney see any way to amend this resolution to ensure that the almost a belt and suspenders type situation, to ensure that the dollars are spent with the full intent of the fund?
It's required by state law. It's required by, is already 2 approvals necessary. No money can be borrowed. No money can be spent until the council approves an appropriation.
All right, so you don't see adding anything to this?
It doesn't make any sense to add anything else to it. It's already.
Call for the question.
We need a motion.
We need a motion. We need a motion on this. If the mayor doesn't want to amend this to help us out, is there a motion to approve? Yes.
You mean to rescind the vote?
No, my concern is that this just gets spent. So,
It can't be spent under state law, Carl, unless there's an appropriation. $4 million of it in the budget ordinance has been appropriated for repaving for 2017, and the rest of it remains.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Was that a second?
approving resolution CC 1017-16-01.
That's correct.
Yes. I would like to note there's a scrivener's error. It references a memo. It should be dated April 26th, not April 24th. Thank you for pointing that out.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Chair will call for the question. All those in favor of CC 10-17-16-01, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Show of hands. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye and raising their hands. Motion fails for lack of approval. Was that, you want me to go ahead and ask for a show of hands on the nays? All those who are not in favor, please signify by saying aye and raising their hands. What do we got? 4? Moving on then to other business.
Mr.
Any other
President,
business to come before the council?
I have an issue that I'd like to raise. I need you to stay at the podium, Mr. Haney.
Can't leave yet.
Regarding D2325-16, there's a failure to amend the clerk treasurer's budget for the salary increase that was not approved. We were going to go back, and that is still in the budget, so we need to remove that out of the budget. So Mr. Haney has recommended that we reopen.
I think the proper step would be to move to reconsider an item that's already been heard and voted on. You're at the same meeting. You haven't ended your meeting. And if that motion is approved, then the matter is opened up again for discussion and the previous vote is annulled. If it's defeated, then of course the original vote remains.
So I would make a motion to reconsider 2325.
Second.
So moving to second that we reconsider motion, or 2325. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question on reconsider. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
So in the ordinance for elected officials, there was in the clerk treasurer's budget $27,362. Had that passed, and since it did not pass, I would make a motion that we amend the clerk treasurer's budget and reduce it by $27,362.
Full-time salary line item. That would come out of 4110000.
Well, it would be all of the associated line items like we did the full-time employee. So it would be all the line items that are associated with the raise.
And what was the dollar amount again?
$27,362 per Barbara Lamb.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Move to approve as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
President, may I speak?
No, you're not a member of the body.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
move to reconsider the budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion on reconsidering the item? The budget.
Again.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
It appears as though we need to do the same thing for the mayor's budget and the judge's budget. I do not have the dollars available, so I would like to make a motion that the raises that were not approved and those associated benefits per Barb Lamb be reduced from the budget when we can confirm those numbers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I was wondering if Mr. Rowe might consider further amending that to also include the excess council salary that wasn't approved.
Sure, yeah.
If you would mind
Absolutely, on that
amending.
one, yeah.
So you amended your motion? Thank you.
And is there a second for that amended? Okay. Thank you. Any discussion on the amendments? Hearing none. We'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Move to approve as amended?
Second?
Call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All right. Is there any other business to come before us?
Move to get out of Dodge.
Is that a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? We are adjourned pending execution of documents. Thank you all very much.